You already know your boy's about to give you that real. Been busy, so I haven't really been able to upload. They've been messing with my schedule, like kind of getting tired of this job anyway. Cause I mean, as you can see, we out in the element, half the time freezing. No matter what you put on, when it's 30 something degrees in Los Angeles, you gotta just take it. Not to mention that it's like, when I first got this holler, fools were like, "Hey, that fool big dog a crash out." Like, yeah, cause I was like on that energy, cause it's like you gotta set a few demos in order for people to understand. Like, you just ain't that tight that they could just press. But then once people start realizing that you don't call the cops and things of that nature, then they start getting a lot more buck wild. Uh, motherfuckers did everything right here, especially, you got motherfuckers pulling fierros on motherfuckers, but, it is what it is. But I take it with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, I still show up for work. Now, that's not what I want to talk about. It's like the hypocrisy, like in media right now. Like one in particular is that, what's her name, Eva Longoria. Like, she did the whole song and dance with Kamala Harris and talking about who all Latinos should vote for. For the most part, if you don't have no dogs in this race or any horse in this race, she's just, decline doing any of it. You don't have to actually take. You don't even have to actually participate in the whole ongoings of political siding, but people do it anyway because it's something within you that you feel like you got that level of power. It's like it's within your right to go out and choose who you want to represent your country. Now, regardless of what side you're on and who you chose, we all know Kamala Harris was just trash, period. If you go, no matter how much she has to discredit what took place in the past, we all know that she was a dirty DA, and the fact that she did not want to prosecute dirty police, she allowed that lady to do the whole, fabricating evidence because she worked in the dealing with evidence. Was it the lab tech? Did all those thousands of cases just doing that, and then she still refused to prosecute it. But we're not going to go into that because at the end of the day, she lost, and it is what it is. And people are upset about it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. People just didn't believe her. And when I told them the vote that they were going for was a black vote, so when Eva Longoria tried to do what she did, it didn't really matter because they weren't really necessarily worried about the Hispanic vote, especially Trump being in office, which they should have tried to, how should I say, get the Latin vote or the Hispanic vote or the Taino vote. They should have been trying their hardest to get that, but they for some reason they didn't. And Eva Longoria had no real right to speak, especially seeing that what she say? That this is what I tell you, people like this, they abandon you. She did that whole song and dance, Kamala Harris, but then when Kamala Harris didn't win, what happened? She packed up her kids and she took off. Don't know which country she went to because I know it's not Mexico because she's a little bit too high maintenance to be in Mexico. But not to say they don't have good parts out there, because they do. But when you're dealing with somebody like that that's not necessarily on that level, they identify with it but don't identify with it. And I say that because she don't. I mean, if you remember, Trump's a racist and all this other stuff. But if you remember, her boyfriend, which is half black and French, he outright disrespected. He outright disrespected a Hispanic that was just trying to sell some oranges or something, and what he called him was not only derogatory, it was just outright. It's some shit that he shouldn't have said as a minority or half minority. But she was right there and she allowed it and she agreed with him, and then she got the backlash of it later on and tried to wiggle her way up out of it. But this is what I tell you, is like, you got these people that they like to come in and act as if they're with the people, but they're not. She don't care, because at the end of the day, when whatever's going to take place after this election, she's not going to have no part of it. While everybody is possibly suffering, she's going to be in a whole nother country, and I can guarantee you ain't a Latin country. But I mean, it all goes back to like a lot of things. Like, I mean, they don't really, this is no shot at Texas, but they don't really have a good track record when it comes to, supporting your people. Now, yeah, but, when it was the whole, when they were rounding up Mexicanos and doing their thing, the Texas Rangers, and, it was your own people that helped round you up and do other things to you, all in the hopes of getting asylum and being able to stay in Texas. So, your descendants, no disrespect, because my family is from Texas as well, but your descendants don't got a good track record for standing behind their people. So I'll just leave that alone. So whenever Longoria came on and got to talking all this nonsense, I just looked at her and just knew she's just an actress that have no real political background. Don't really know too much about what she's talking about. Probably read a few books real quick just to be able to. Oh, what you know? What she went to California. You know how California is. Saying I'm from California, but the whole what is it? Oh, it's the left. And then what she go to Northridge. So they have a mindset, and maybe she got it went from the Desperate Housewife to something a lot more you know viable. You know what I mean? Because as an actress, it was done for her since the Desperate Housewives or whatever. That's her claim to fame. Every other movie been basically like B-rated. She never really made it to that level. And this is not necessarily to get on and throw punches at her because I actually like her. Beautiful Latina. But I mean, when it comes to politics, she should just steer clear from that because she don't really know too much. Because if she did, then she wouldn't have backed Kamala Harris. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to vote for anybody. You didn't have to vote for nobody. But if you did, why would you vote for Kamala Harris? There was independents and libertarians or whatever. I think there was a couple of libertarians or one, not too sure. Then don't too much worry about them parties, but she could have voted for an independent or one that just chose not to do no. You get what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is, dude, this just goes to show you, like I said, like if you want that type of political power as uh Hispanics, you got to put somebody in place that's going to not only work on your well-being and be able to reach across aisles, but also be focused on you. None of these people are focused on you. Garcia, no disrespect to him, Republican, but they're not focused on you. They're focused on their own goals, and it has nothing to do with supporting Hispanics or nothing. It's just these people have a way of doing what they do and not really caring about who it affects in the future. Now, people can be upset because a gang of Latinos and Hispanics and Mexicanos actually went for Trump, and they're up in arms about it. But it is what it is. It's what happens when you don't have a solid foundation. I mean, to be honest, I got a story about that, and I'm probably gonna have to put in another video. But it's some dude I know, and exactly what transpired with him coming from Mexico and what happened with him and his wife and his kids, and the simple fact that the people that did it to him weren't even Caucasians. They weren't Americans. They were somebody that on his side of the border that just felt like dude shouldn't have left Mexico. Had nothing to do with cartels and money or nothing. Just figures that by leaving Mexico, you essentially are a traitor. So they do everything else. They do everything up under the sun, like rob you for your water and whatever, and leave you stranded to sometime take off with your chick and you never find her again. It's like it's like that. I understand why people voted what they voted. There's so much division, like even amongst Hispanics is division. There's a lot of division. Nobody really, even amongst Mexicanos, like they just don't. They everybody believes they're better than the next. But that's all I'm saying. Evan Longoria, just stick to doing whatever. Uh, but she's no longer out here, so whatever. Anyways, I'm out. Just bored. I want to talk.